Texans, Rams, SoFi Stadium, Los Angeles, California. If you're a Texans fan and you want to watch along with someone who's been covering the Texans for a decade plus, hey, it's me, Paul Gallant from ESPN Houston here in town. If you're a Rams fan and you want to talk shit, hey, you got a pasty dude with huge eyebrows. It's easy ammunition if things don't exactly go the Texans' way. I'm Paul Gallant, and this is a special watch-along edition of the Gallant Says podcast.
A radio show host in Seattle called Paul Gallant.
Paul Gallant's wondering the same things a lot of people wonder.
You are definitely living in the hindsight world today, Paul.
Do you feel there's been a consistent theme with the interceptions?
I think every interception really has a different story.
I was just kind of curious what Paul gets to say.
Grow up, are you kidding me? Paul Gallant, what the hell is wrong with you?
Hello, and welcome aboard the Gallant Says podcast. I am Paul Gallant. We generally do this after major Houston sporting events, so there will be a different video stream for after Texans and Rams, a little post-game. But if you want to watch along with me, you can. I'm looking at the Texans today, who for much of the week have been around a field goal underdog. And I think this is going to be a very hard game for the Texans. Christian Kirk, who's been dealing with a hamstring injury, the receiver you bring in to replace either Stephon Diggs or Tank Dell or both, has been dealing with a hamstring injury all week. So he's not going to play. He's out. Also of note, right guard and Ingram on this brand new offensive line is out as well. So very curious to see what the Texans do to make up for that. Do they move Titus Howard from right tackle over to right guard? I really don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. What I do know is that adding more questions to an offense that has a brand new offensive coordinator, a brand new offensive line, a brand new offensive line coach, a brand new receiving core, no Joe Mixon. This is going to be an uphill battle, I think, for the Texans offense to score enough points to win. So how do they win this game? I think they win this game if the defense or the special teams scores a touchdown and makes maybe some more plays. You're going to need Kaimi Fairbairn to play his best. Can't be the Kaimi Fairbairn we saw at the end of last year. You're going to need, I think, everything surrounding the offense to actually look good. Will it truly? I don't know. I'm also not going to make any grand sweeping conclusions based off of what happens in today's game. I think you have to be very fair and realize that the Texans in September, you might be frustrated by what you see, but it's all about what we see from the Texans late November into December. And by that point, the hope is that the offensive line becomes cohesive enough for this team to actually have a chance to potentially win a playoff game. Maybe make it past the second round of the playoffs for the first time. Carlos Obregon on YouTube gives a couple of H's up, as they call it. The H is up tradition, which is different than this. That's for Texas. Ryan Lost in Texas says, love the Jeff Goldblum pillow, Paul. I am going to make grand sweeping conclusions. That's for damn sure. The Jeff Goldblum pillow is a pillow I bought. I called it the talking pillow. When I was doing the radio show on Sports Radio 610 in the morning, Seth and I would often talk over each other. And one day I thought it would be funny to bring in this talking pillow and to say, hey, I have the talking pillow now. You need to shush. You need to shush. They didn't think it was funny. I'm still friends with them, by the way. But you might see the Patriots stuff in the background. Patriots lost. Not great. Not great. Hi, A. Tony says, y'all miss Eli. That's all y'all got on your mind. But this team's stuck in rewind. O-line crumbles every time. QB running for his life. Defense slow, can't stop the drive. Fans just playing to survive. This is a wrap. Coaches talk but can't revive. Every Sunday feels the same. Heartbreak built into the game. Rivals laugh when Giants fade. Banners fade along the wall. Please don't ban me. Best we do is shake it off. I mean, you stopped rhyming at the end. What the fuck, dog? That was pretty cool. Hi, Tony says I was spamming in Giants fan streams. Okay. Well, I mean, Giants know exactly what they're getting this year. They got Russell Wilson under center for the foreseeable future. I don't think they like Brian Daboll really either. Anyway, let's turn this into the actual PIP mode so that you guys can all chat with one another, whether you're on YouTube or on the Twitch. You can see off to the right there. You can all talk with each other. I'm going to encourage the Twitchers that sometimes do bad things on the side. Less pretzels. I would prefer that, but I can't control you animals. I can't. Am I going to be playing the game? Hayat Tony asks. I don't know. No, I mean, you got to watch the game on your own. I'm not streaming a broadcast on my Twitch. Barely have any followers. You think you want to? I don't want to get banned after like 5 seconds. Come on, dog. Come on. All right, so this is just some random person. You know what? Shout out for showing up, random person who definitely does not have much of an interest in this game. Anyway, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to turn the TV on in my little mini studio. I have no idea what's going on with the Houston Astros, but suppose I could put that on. I already muted you. It's weirdo. Yes, I agree. What's the score prediction? I think that the Texans are going to lose. I think they're going to lose by a touchdown. If I were to make a score prediction, I'm probably saying like 20-13, something like that. Whatever the under is on this game, I would take the under if you're a gambling person. I think this is going to be for both the Rams and Matt Stafford going up against this Texans defense. I think this is not great for them. You know, the Astros game is not great. Jake Berger apparently doing well. Okay. Well, I'm cool not watching any baseball on a Sunday. To watch the fucking U.S. Open yesterday because I was not in control of the TV. And then I watched Florida lose to South Florida. At least Syracuse won, but I didn't even see the end of that game. All right, let's flip things over, and I'm going to turn the TV on very quickly. Let's see. So the Astros, I guess, are going to lose 2 or 3 to the Rangers. That's a bummer. Certainly a bummer. Not what you're looking for. All right, got that on. Headset on. This is a very weird commercial. Payne Moore. Why aren't they showing the Texans? It's probably because it's the end of another game right now. Anyway, let's flip mics. How are we sounding? We sounding loud enough? God, Kevin Harlan's voice is so hot. Paul, it's a weird thing to say about a man's voice. Whatever. Kevin Harlan's voice is arousing to me. I wish I had it. The Jeff Goldblum pillow is something else. Yeah, bro. If you were listening a little bit earlier, this was the talking pillow from the Mad Radio days. All right. I already muted you. Asks or says, I don't know what to expect from the wide receiver room outside of Nico today. I agree. I think this is going to be a really tough day for their offense. And I would look at it from this perspective. Go into this thing expecting them to lose. The Rams were the team that came closest to beating the Eagles in the playoffs last year. Like they were a third down fuck up from potentially, being in position to win that thing. They had a 4th and long situation after a completely missed assignment on 3rd down. But I mean, they marched right down the field and they had a chance at the end of that one to win it. All right. So the big change today for the Texans offensively, and I'm very curious to see offensive line-wise what they do, but the big change is that Ed Ingram okay, that's at least good. So, Texans with the ball first. At their own 20. Okay. Stroud to Schultz for 5-6. And there's a flag. Here we go. So Cam Robinson, I guess at right tackle, and Titus Howard at right guard. Nope, Cam. Interesting. So Ursery's right tackle. Robinson's at left tackle. Man, that could lead to some real problems today. They're doing that kind of a flip up right before the game, unless they were working on that all week in practice. Yeah, Ed Ingram is out. Ingram was scratched about an hour and a half ago or so. All right. Oh, great. Delay a game. Jesus Christ. Man. Rough. About as underwhelming a first series from the offense as you could ask for. What do you want, hon? Cat's hanging out in here. Little Aria. Texan for life. What did you say? Oh, Tunsil plays for Washington. Did he make a sarcastic comment about Tunsil? Sorry, the Twitch that I have, the chat that I have on my laptop is a little dated compared to the one that I have on my computer, which is right there. M&D Productions asks, how does the offensive line already look bad? I think there's some understandable excuses today, given that Ed Ingram, the right guard, is out. So that means Titus Howard moves from right tackle to right guard. That means Ariante Ursary moves from left tackle, which he's been doing all training camp, to right tackle, and Cam Robinson's at right tackle. This chat, I think, is ahead of me. That's what happens when you watch an antenna. Man, you would have thought Adams would get hurt on that play. Derek Stingley's slow getting up. Oof. Oh, God. Both Adams and Stingley. Yeah, a little back injury of sorts. Yikes. Wait, so Jeep is now billing itself as America's original influencer? As if being an influencer is cool? I think people want to be an influencer, but the majority of people think that influencers are cunts. No? Am I wrong there? Okay. Wingstop ad. They moved away from Jalen Green as their spokesman, which is about time. I thought that was the strangest spokesperson / celebrity endorser that I've ever seen. He was the national Wingstop guy. I already muted you, asks Paul. Can we talk about your Gators during the commercial? The Gators are never going to be the Gators again. I'm happy for South Florida. For those who don't know, I went to high school in St. Pete, Florida. I used to go to USF games all the time. So I liked USF. But Gators have always been my favorite college team, even when I was living up in Massachusetts. And I mean, my hope is that at the very least, Florida takes a look at USF's coach and steals him. Stingley is at least walking. So maybe he will be back in. Scott Sexton says sports suck. Well, not a great first 4 minutes, that's for sure. Okay. Yeah, you know what? Can we not miss a play due to the highlight? Thanks. Is Alshire wearing a choker? Or is that just his... Does he have an embroidered dog chain on his neck? Okay, another first down. That was pretty easy, James Clancy. Nowhere to go, at least on the ground game thus far. I guess Kalen Bullock is about to do something. I already muted you. Ryan, can you wait 10 seconds to type? Yeah, Ryan, on your antenna TV. You're so far ahead of us. It is annoying that now antenna's ahead. Red Zone is sometimes ahead. The stream is so far behind. Oh, nice hit, block. Nice. All right. Hey, defense did what it was supposed to. Let's see if the special teams can get a block punt or something like that. I think the Texans win with a defensive touchdown or a special teams touchdown of sort, because I think we're going to be mad about the offense all game. I've already accepted that it's going to be a work in progress for the offensive line. Yeah, I don't like the fair catch of the 5. Let that thing bounce and go into the end zone. Got to pull the Paul Gallant as a punt returner. I was our backup punt returner in high school, and whenever I got brought in, basically to give our quarterback a blow, because our quarterback was the fastest player on our team, I would wave fair catch and run as far away from the ball as possible. Why? Because catching a punt is really hard. So Morbius is doing a crossover with Tron, is what I'm gathering from this commercial. Never watched the Tron movie. Well, the good news, Common Sense 200, who wonders aloud if the offensive line is going to give up another 25 yards in penalties this drive. The good news is they're at their own 5, so every penalty is half the distance of the goal. Unless it's in the end zone, then it's a safety. Man, Billy Bob's really leaning into the Landman. Ryan Lawson, Texas says, one time I got asked to punt in high school because I played soccer when I was younger. I proceeded to accidentally punt the ball backwards over my head out of the back of the end zone for a safety. I was punting from the 32-yard line. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I will say, one time a kid ran the wrong way against us in a high school game. Let me see. I'm going to put this in the chat. This actually happened. That happened in a high school game. Wow, it's true. Last time you punted. Yeah, I would hope so. God damn, dude. I already muted you. No, I haven't played flag in a bit. I want to get back in, but finding a good team and a team that actually trusts you enough to play is tough. Like the last team I was on, listen, I was new to the team. I was the one white guy. And they just wouldn't let me go on the field. Like no one would sub out. I would sub out from time to time. They wouldn't sub out on offense. And they wouldn't let me play the position I'm best at on defense. So they wanted me to rush the passer, which I'm not actually good at. So since we were losing and nothing was changing up, and then one of my teammates tried to start a fight with somebody in the game, I got a little uncomfortable and I stopped. So that was probably in February or March or something. 3rd and 5. How are we feeling if I were a lens? Not great. Stroud using his legs gets a first. Okay. First down of the year. Nick Caley's got the fade beard as well. It's like a fading up, fading down kind of thing. That is a decision. Dameon Pierce. I already muted you, asks, what names to look for in the Rams defense? Jared Verse is their best defensive player. Their front seven, and specifically their defensive line, are really good, even though Saquon Barkley ran for like 500 yards against them in 2 games last season. They're very good getting after the quarterback, and Jared Verse isn't Aaron Donald, but he's very, very good. It's kind of crazy to think Aaron Donald's 34. Imagine if Aaron Donald was still on this defense. It would be even worse. Stroud. There we go. A lot of Schultz thus far. That was a nice play by Stroud. Nice throw. Jaden Higgins over the middle. This is what drives me crazy about the ESPN Houston Twitchers who think Stroud isn't good. Like Stroud, that was an incredible throw by Stroud. Effortlessly made while he's, fading backwards to his left. He's a hell of a quarterback. That's what drives me crazy. I want to talk football, and they're always crying because I'm not talking about fucking baseball. If I were a lens asks now, all right, how are we feeling? Feeling a lot better because they had their backs to the end zone at their own 5, and they got out of it. They've handled the pressure very early on to this point pretty well. Pocket's there. I already muted you. His throw to Dell against Arizona, for example. Yeah, he makes incredible throws on a regular basis. Got him. Schultz, man. Woody Marks in the game. 3rd and 7 again. Remember opening game last year, he kept slipping on the Colts midfield logo. Off the top of my head, I do not remember that. These fields are terrible. I've noticed a lot of slipping today in the games that I've watched. I was watching the Patriots and Raiders game in Foxborough, and it was a little wet outside. You got it. Yep. Yep. I was about to talk about how D'Amico Ryan said this training camp that Dalton Schultz is looking like the old Dalton Schultz in training camp. There we go. All right. Let's go. That's a good first drive. Be right back. I'm going to get myself a water and eat a drumstick from my rotisserie chicken that's hanging out. Sarah says my voice is less annoying now. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeesh. Payne Moore asks, I haven't been keeping up too much. What is going on with Chubb? Nick Chubb is not Nick Chubb anymore. You have to look at it like that. My hope is that the more reps he gets, the closer he feels to the old him as the season progresses. Because he's had 2 major injuries the last couple of seasons. Yeah, that's quite the hold. Still, though, I mean, he was out to the 35 by the time that happened. That was some pretty shitty coverage. Oh. He did look okay in the preseason for sure, but he barely played in the preseason, you know. A lot of the people that were at training camp thought that Chubb looked slow. I definitely felt that he didn't look very fast when I saw him out there, but I also was like, hey, Chubb's at his best when he's actually allowed to be a running back, which is when he's actually going up against people that are supposed to tackle him, because he's so strong and he generally runs through them. Definitely don't feel great about the running game based off of the first couple of series where it feels like they're just running straight into the teeth of the Rams. I already muted you, says he's not going to be Joe Mixon, but he looked decent in that one game. Ryan Laws in Texas says, would you say he is half chubbed? Ha 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 ha. Wide open. Throw a flag. Helmet to helmet. I mean, he put his head down. I don't know what you're supposed to do here. Oh, wow. He's bleeding. All right. That's the end of the first quarter. Be right back and get another drumstick. hate when they always make the color commentators like narc on themselves. Like, hey, actually, yeah, like that wasn't a terrible call. It was. The guy put his head down. That's why the helmet to helmet happened. Wide open. Man, Bullock's got some hitting power. Refs helping the Texans out today. There you go. You're welcome for that burp. NCIS, there's another NCIS, but they decided we're not going to make it NCIS City. We're going to make it NCIS characters from the original NCIS, which is definitely better than an NCIS Paducah. So there's NCIS, NCIS Origins, NCIS Sydney, NCIS New Orleans, NCIS two people who are fucking post NCIS. Yeah. Astros Flag World Tour says Paul, I missed it. Give us a quick recap of Friday's radio station get-together. Did you have a good time? Had a great time. Barry did a great job roasting everybody. It was a great time. It was cool to see everybody. I'm not going to lie. I just love the ego stroking of people that, at least in my face, say, yeah, bro, I love your show. Like, I love that. Because I very often forget that I actually am doing a radio show and people actually do listen to it. Very often I'm like, just in a room with a microphone, feeling like I'm talking to myself. But it was a great, great time. Uh-oh. Who is that on? Oh, the Pilates trading. Oh, yikes. Ursary just got bowled. Yeah, that's another give up play on 3rd and long. All right, so 3 and out for the Texans there. Ryan Lawson, Texas says that was on Stroud. He could have stepped it up. I agree with you there. Manuel Gutierrez asks, first quarter evaluation from Paul. I will give them a C+. The defense has done what it needs to, but 2 of the offensive drives to this point have been tough. There's been moments where Stroud has looked like the old Stroud with some accurate throws, but that series and the first series were very sloppy. So I'm going to say C+. Defense has done a very good job to this point. Painmore, I agree. To this point, it does feel like last year, but I think what's different is there's a lot of room for growth given you have a lot of young players this time around. Ursary can only get better. Higgins, Knoll can only get better. I'm really looking at this team in a marathon kind of perspective. How are they going to look in a couple of weeks, in a couple of months? And once you accept that there will be growing pains, I think you're going to be a lot less stressed out every single Sunday. Astros Flag World Tour asks, hey, Paul, any commentary from you about Drake May? It wasn't a great performance for Drake May today. The Colts, they did blow the Dolphins out. I think that the rumors about the Dolphins being a disaster this season are true. There's a moment with about 11 minutes to go because I went to watch the game at McIntyre's in the Heights, the Patriots game, and there's a moment with 11 minutes to go where whatever broadcaster, I think it was Andrew Catalon for CBS, was on the mic, goes on this long spiel about Tyreek Hill and how Tyreek Hill has finally realized he needs to be more mature, and that's what he wants his legacy to be about being a good father, which I feel like it's going to be hard for him to be a father with any one of his many kids, by multiple people. And obviously his legacy starts with what went down at Oklahoma State. But I saw that in the midst of I think the Colts were up 10-0 at that point. I remember watching that and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I mean, if Tyreek Hill is meeting with the CBS team by himself, it's almost as if he's trying to show that he's doing what he needs to be better and almost distancing himself from the team that he said he didn't want to be a part of going into this year at the end of last season. So I think the Colts blowout win is more about the Dolphins than it is about the Colts. I'm not going to lie, though, I did not watch that game very closely, and I was annoyed that for whatever reason at McIntyre's that game had the primary volume. Yeah, it's good coverage. Good coverage by the Texans to this point. Oh! Oh, man. I thought Stafford was going to kick that out the back of the end zone. He looks so slow chasing that down. Lot of room. Bet he had more room to the right. Yeah, you got to score a touchdown here. Trey of Texas says Stafford looks more stiff than he usually does. Yeah, and I mean when you're chasing a snap that went over your head, tends to go down like that. Ryan, wait, hang on, not Ryan Lawson question in Texas. I just got dyslexic. I'm gonna take the headset off because I have the TV broadcast on the headphones. Last question: do you think Aaron Rodgers gets the Steelers back into the playoffs if he stays healthy? No, I don't. I think that it's not going to be about the Steelers' offense if they make the playoffs. It's going to be about how good that defense was, and I just think that's a tough division for him to make it through all season long. Like beating the Jets week 1 on a walk-off field goal, I don't think that's anything to get excited about if you're a Steelers fan, you know? Puka Nakua's got an eye patch on? Hell yeah. I guess I missed that. Oh, that guy. Is that Ricky Martin? Is Ricky Martin back? Oh, yeah. God damn. How do you see with that bandage? How do you see anything? There we go. That's that kind of Nick Chubb. Great if you can get that. Your I.B. Pakua. Pakua the long hair. Boom. See, that's the Chubb of old. That. Getting stopped, running through it. Yeah, Ursery mauling dudes. Dude, Ursery fucked that guy up. Yeah, Payne, I like what I've seen. These couple of Chubb carries. Yeah, Chubb carries. It is tough to talk when you have someone talking in your ears. A conspiracy about Jordan Love is that last season, after the injury he suffered in Brazil, he was never the same guy again. And that this year is going to be the year that was supposed to happen last season where he was getting a lot of hype. I don't like that play call. Yeah, this must have been 4th and 2 going for it. What kind of play call are we going to get here? Oh! Chad Shipman was nervous. I already muted you. Was nervous. Payne Moore seemed also nervous. Yeah, that was a little nervous. Jerry, what's going on? I'm doing well. Just watching a little Texans and Rams right now in the Gallant Says podcast studios in Houston, Texas. Oof. Trey of Texas says that D'Amico looks nervous as hell. I would look nervous going for it on 4th and 2 as well. Ryan lost in Texas with another spoiler, I think, here. Dropping an F-bomb. Man, Texas dominating the... I already muted you, says. Anyway, Paul, I'm up in Kansas City for work and thinking about going to the Texans game at Arrowhead. Interesting. I did radio in Kansas City Wednesday morning before my radio show. 3rd and 8. Rams 15. Well, at least he didn't fumble. That was a hard hit. That's a good Wale. All right. Well, certainly disappointing. But you are up 6-0, which is honestly more than I expected at this point. Da 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 da. It's the motherfucking DOG. Snoop Dogg. Ba da 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 da. Something with the easily. Do you know who is up in this motherfucker? What? Now blaze that shit up right here, fellow. Blaze that shit up. You know? I'm such a great rapper. Captain Photon. What's up, dog? Common Sense 200. What's the obnoxious obsession with the run? They wasted a chance to get closer to the first down. Instead, they had 8 yards. I mean, they were running the ball successfully earlier on that drive. So I don't blame them. You've done some changes on your offensive line going into this game as well. Like, there are some legitimate reasons, I think, for what we've seen to this point. What's up, Pokey FPS on the Twitch? And if you haven't already, please slam the like buttons and subscribe to my channel. Whether it's on YouTube at Paul Gallant. Ooh, wow. Tony and Ziva, they're just going to fuck the whole time, I bet. It's going to be a couple of people in their 40s fucking. Did you watch that show? I don't know. I don't know if I would, personally. I think my stepdad might watch that, though. Ryan Lawson, Texas. I agree. There's nothing wrong with a couple of people in the 40s. In their 40s, shaboinking, banging, having the sex. But is that what you want to have a television show's premise based on? Because that's what it looks like is going down on this NCIS. 2 people from the original show that aren't the main character. You make it sound like a late-night Cinemax show, says Trey of Texas. Yes, I do. It'd probably be better than the actual show itself. It is kind of wild that generally TV shows made by networks are all spin-offs of the same successful franchises that have been successful franchises for 20-plus years. Like, you know, we had already the Big Bang Theory spinoff, Young Sheldon. Young Sheldon's done now, so now there's a spinoff of Young Sheldon, like George and whoever the fuck's first marriage. Like, who fucking cares? But the people that watch network TV love that. I don't know why. Good throw. It is true. It is good to see Dylan Horton out there. Texans have had a lot of dudes on their team of late that have had to overcome a lot of stuff to get on the field. John Mechie, who's obviously with the Eagles now. If you watched the Thursday game, you might have seen Mechie out there. YouTube's Captain Photon says, "I wish Mad Men would have been on HBO. You talk about sexy love. That's a show where there's a lot of fucking going on." Let's see. We got a guest. A guest has joined the show. Uh-oh. All right. Arya, since you've joined, the Rams are averaging 7 yards a play. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? Ryan Lost in Texas says, "I absolutely cannot wait to load a fat bowl of marijuana. Do not make me call Dan Patrick on you, sir. I'm doing my part, you know? I'm trying to be the best citizen I can." Arya just bolted off, so 2-minute warning. Game has gone by pretty quickly. Common Sense 200 says this game may not even reach 17 points by how slow pace it's going. Well, it's moving quick. It's just the drives are taking a while. The clock is trickling and trickling some more. And by the way, if you listened to me before the game, I'm not a big fan of making predictions about actual game result, but I did think that this was one of those games where you slam the under. Yes, I already muted you. I would compare this to Texas versus Ohio State. There has not been a lot of offense going down. Yordan Alvarez won the U.S. Open. Congratulations to Yordan Alvarez. That's pretty awesome. I didn't know he played tennis. He should probably focus on the fucking Astros. By the way, did the Astros lose? I'm not gonna lie. I watched exactly none of Astros Rangers this weekend. Oh boy. So it looks like they had a 1-1 tie in the 6th, and then the Rangers ran away with it. It does seem Jordan's on a tear since returning, so there's at least that. That's cool. I know the Mariners won 18-1. I was watching today's game with a Mariners fan. So 2.5 game lead in the American League West. Rangers now 4 back. Uh-oh. I used to like the CBS theme of yesteryear. It was a lot better. I at least thought. Nice throw. I'd rather going to call like illegal, unnecessary hit or something like that on Balak. Yeah, Ryan Lawson, Texas. I think I would load that bull right now if I were you. He's bleeding too much. I actually got pulled from a game once in high school because I had this wart on my elbow and it just fell off in the middle of the game and it started bleeding everywhere. So instead of giving me bandage, my coach just put a shit ton of tape on it and they just ripped it up. So it's going to be third and short from, looks like the inch line. Ryan Lawson, Texas said, I have super glued cuts at work, so they wouldn't send me to the urgent care and get me piss tested. Thanks, Dan Patrick. Thanks, Ken Paxton. Stuffed. Stuffed. Okay. Texans swarm. 4th and goal. Another spoiler. Ryan Lawson, Texas, just spoiling it for all of us in the chat. Not cool, bro. Not cool. Not cool. Not cool. Ah. It's all good. It's all good, Ryan. It's not that big a deal. Please chat away. Makes it easier to be excited or to be whatever feeling I'm supposed to feel when they give up a touchdown on 4th and short. Ooh. All right, let's see if the Texans offense can actually move the football in a 2-minute kind of situation. Woo! That was cool. Nice. I already muted you, says I don't believe D'Amico said Schultz. Ooh. Justin Watson is not Dalton Schultz. I already muted you. All these white people looking the same. Come on now. Unless Dalton Schultz had a penalty. Yeah, he did drop that one for sure. I thought you were at the play after Schultz and his drop. Watson should have caught that, but honestly, it's probably for the best that he didn't catch that because the clock would have run and they would have probably had to call a timeout. And it would have been just in the wouldn't have been in the best field goal range. I think it would have been what, like 55 from there? I'm not that drunk yet, Paul. LOL. I had a Bloody Mary and a tall mug of Guinness at McIntyre's earlier. Man, I'm going to need to get a coffee in a second. Great play by Stroud. Automatic from outside. Well, honestly, hard to complain about where the Texans are right now. In the eyes of many, common sense, the Rams are considered to be one of the best defenses in the league. Trey of Texas says, so far I'm concerned the Texans can't seem to finish a drive. 3 field goals to start the season is meh. Yeah, but this is a good defense. Give the Rams a little bit of credit here. I'm going to take the headset off. So, halftime thoughts. I think the Texans, from a running game perspective, might actually have something in the second with Nick Chubb. I think Chubb needs more carries. Amazingly, CJ Stroud running the ball has been the Texans' best offense to this point. He's averaging 6.8 yards a carry. That's something he said he wanted to do more of this season. He's 8 of 13 on the game for 86 yards. Nico Collins, just 1 catch for 7 yards to this point. Outside of a throw to Jaden Higgins and to Xavier Hutchinson, yeah, there hasn't been much going on the passing side of things. But I think that the Texans running the football could theoretically have some more success in the second half. So you should be happy about this. I understand that there's some things that you want cleaned up, but by the end of the year is when that's the most important. To have a 9-7 lead on the road against a team that has Sean McVay running that offense is, I think, a great place to be. Astros Flag World Tour on Instagram at SportsGallant says, I'm happy so far. As am I. Trey of Texas says, I do like what I see from Chubb in combo with Mixon when he comes back. Would be awesome. If Mixon especially can be who he was last year. Ryan Lawson, Texas says, Paul Doings like me playing Madden when me and my opponent both had 3 interceptions in the first half. That one is I don't know what that means. Gotta trust the running game in the second half. I'm with you there. All right, guys. I will be back. We're going to keep this thing up and running. I'm going to get some snacks, and I'm going to make myself an espresso because I keep fucking yawning. I'm also going to change out of these nut hugger shorts I'm wearing. All right, guys. Got a little espresso. A little biscotti. Justin, I did not drop the kids off at the pool. There we go. I was hungry. Munkle, what are you doing? I did not take the Browns to the Super Bowl. Trey of Texas. Nice play. Wow. You actually caught that. It's pretty crazy that Devontae Adams was probably taken well after Puka Nacua in most fantasy football drafts. Uh-oh. Nice throw. Man. Oh. I don't know if that's Petrie or if that's Gardner Johnson, but beautiful throw. Titans are leading the Broncos. Ooh, almost picked. I don't know about that one. They threw a flag on the play. What happened to our secondary the last two drives? Asks, I already muted you. I mean, definitely some miscommunication on the play that got the Rams to the 18 here. Rams are throwing the ball more because it's 2 minute. Texans may be giving a little too much cushion because it's 2 minute. Oh, beautiful throw. Jesus. Stafford's awesome. That was a hell of a play. All right. Oh, yeah. It's a nice play. Also got to remember that Sean McVay is one of the best offensive minds in the NFL, and that at some point he was going to figure out what the Texans are doing. So now it's on D'Amico Ryans and it's on Matt Burke to adjust. How good are they at that compared to Sean McVay? I would say they're definitely not on the same level at this point in both of their careers as coaches, given McVay's been doing it a lot longer. Here we go again. 77 says, the Rams lied to the league about Stafford's injury, so he didn't have to practice. What do you mean? So that he didn't get fined at practice? No, he's probably dealing with something. He has been injured so many times over the course of his career. I don't think this has anything to do with the Rams trying to deceive people here. I think that Stafford, who is getting closer and closer to 40 and has had his body bruised and beaten in a way that few other quarterbacks can say they've had happen when you're playing on just a god-awful franchise to open your career. I think he's got something wrong. He's dealt with back injuries before. I also think that of all the weeks in the season, and I said this over the course of this week on my radio show, this is the worst week to run into Stafford because if he's dealing with some back injury, this is probably the freshest he is going to feel. And, I mean, outside of the snap over Stafford's head, how many times have the Texans even hit Stafford? I know there's 2 sacks. One is Sheldon Rankins. Check that. There's 2 QB hits for the Texans thus far. One by Sheldon Rankins, one by Will Anderson. Let's see. Was there another sack? Stroud's been sacked a couple of times.
All right, what are you doing, dude?
Cat was just licking my slippers. Must have dropped a piece of chicken. Come here. Oh, yeah. The Rams do a Houston Cougars thing. They do Rams House while Houston does Cougs House, UH. So, very unoriginal. Yeah, keep running the ball. Think about this. In 2 games last year, legal shift by Higgins. But think about this. In 2 games last year, Saquon Barkley had close to 500 yards rushing. Saquon Barkley had 64 carries. Hang on. Saquon Barkley in 2 games against the Rams last year, 52 carries for 460 yards and 4 touchdowns, all 60 plus. Okay, Justin Watson. Definitely, here we go again, 77. I imagine Stafford got some very powerful drugs to go into this game. False start, left guard. I guess I'm a little behind you guys. So now you get to know what's happening and look forward to my reactions, I guess. I wonder if they were about to run a shot play there. That's the kind of play action fake that I think you do if you're about to throw it deep. So now 1st and 15, you probably got to run. Oh, same play. There we go. Nico. And he didn't do the gun motion. Flag, roughing the passer. First down. Thanks, refs, for correcting that, because it is 2nd and inches, I guess. Ryan Lawson, Texas, says Stroud is killing me. He did the Stroud thing. What's that? Guess we will see. Chubb gets the first down. I already muted you. Yeah, he had a guy in his face within 2 seconds. Well, that is the Stroud thing from time to time. It gets worse. Jesus Christ. You must be 2 plays ahead of me. First and 10 from their own 49. Stroud under pressure. Oh, no. I'm guessing the Stroud thing is make a sack a lot more yards than it should be. Three sacks thus far. Yeah, there was a pocket there. Mm. Oh, picked. Screen froze for a moment there, so I gotta have to see the replay of this. Oh, just taken out of Higgins' hands. I think the ball hit the ground. I think the ball hit the ground. Yep. He did take it right out of his hands. I think the ball might have hit the ground, the point of the ball, because it did move a little bit at the very end. But is that conclusive enough to overturn it? I don't know. Yeah, Samson, I'm with you. I think the ball hit the ground. Bark boy. If you're watching along on YouTube, if you could give me a like and a subscribe if you're a first timer, that would be wonderful. If you're watching along on Twitch and you haven't subbed already, that would be neato too. Help me feed my cat, who is licking my slippers right now because I dropped a little piece of rotisserie chicken on it when I went over the kitchen to eat some of it at halftime. Interception stands. Yeah. It moved. Nice. Ooh. Are they going to call a penalty on that sack, or is that a hold? I like that the color commentator asks the follow-up question about what the hell Pereira was talking about there. My bad, Sterator. Got my Italian refs confused. 3rd and 11 draw. Okay. Samson asks, Paul, what do you think of the team after 3 quarters? About expected? Yeah, about expected. I think all the shuffling on the offensive line, 3 sacks allowed, not a lot of consistency. I think that's to be expected. All right, Noel. That's a nice little return. Yeah, I mean, it's not great, but this could be a lot worse. My cat keeps sneaking in here. We're just within arm's reach, but it's difficult to actually grab her. I already muted you. Shout out to I already muted you, joining the YouTube side of things, which is where the best experience of the show is. And by the way, you guys can chat with each other. I don't know if you can actually read the chat, but Twitch can talk to YouTube, can talk to X, can talk to Facebook. Instagram's the only one that I haven't figured out how to incorporate over there. Maybe someday. Here, there's nothing I fear, and I know that my heart will go on, will stay forever this way. You are safe in my heart, and my heart will go on and on. I'm like Celine Dion. Ugh. Not ideal. 2nd and long after no gain by Marks. Hopefully everyone liked my singing there. Oh, Jesus Christ, bro. Oh, my God, he caught it. Justin Watson? First down. Marks for 1 yard. I like that there's a guy with the last name Landman while this game is being broadcast on CBS, a channel that is owned by Paramount and Paramount Plus. Landman, starring Billy Bob Thornton, coming back to your televisions at some point in the near future with Cougar Ali Larder, the star of the show. It's definitely the best part of the show, is Ali Larder, who is a strong, powerful, and independent woman. Oh, man, some more shuffling. So Blake Fisher's in at right tackle, and Ursery's in at left tackle. So more shuffling. That's a lot for a rookie to move from move from right to left after being left all camp. Trey of Texas says, yes, Ellie Lauder in that show is hot and insane. Yes. Yes. Common Sense 200 says, if Houston somehow manages to get a TD, they're going to need 2 points. I agree. I agree. Tommy DeVito getting commercials. DeVito is probably the most popular backup quarterback in the league. So, this show seems to be trying to make Morena Baccarin not look like the strongest, powerful, independent woman of all time. And I don't like that kind of thing. For those who don't know, the Always Sunny in Philadelphia pilot featured Morena Baccarin playing a man with a bulge in her pants. And I think they did an actual episode about that with a different actress playing that character, and Mac was really into her or him or whatever you want to call it. All right, Stroud's rolling out to his left. Stroud's legs have been nice. There's a flag. Defensive holding. Jake Andrews just went into the 10-2. Oh. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Blake Fisher face mask? Jesus Christ. Wow, that's ridiculous. No, another guy slow getting up. Looks like Robinson's back in. How did the O-line get in this position? No, it was last year's team. Last year's offensive line coach who should have retired going into the season. All right. Well, woof. Just 30 seconds. Yep, you're right, Samson. Defensive touchdown, special teams touchdown. They need some help. I think just the bad luck the offense has had with the injury side of things. I mean, what can you do? Hard for me to get mad at them. Espionage is their love language. That sounds gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but fuck off. CBS. Oh my God. Yep, Jake Andrews being carted off after spending time in the blue medical tent. Great. That was a dumb penalty. Clock's running out. Hoo-wee. Man. Boston Blue? Is this going to be like a Blue Bloods spinoff? Really looking forward to that. Just kidding. I don't give a shit. Yeah, I agree, Eddie Clark. This is not a fun watch. Ugh. Nice. Man, some bad allergies today. Oh, filthy catch. That was a hell of a catch. False start. There we go. Hey. Oof, screen. Oh, the dumb little things just keep on adding up. Huge. Huge. Out of field goal range. Oh. My Keurig is making some very loud, angry noises. Big time sack. Common Sense 200 with the new kicker football rule. Maybe we can win on Only Fair Baron. The new kicker football rule. What are you talking about? You're gonna need to help me out here. Wow. Nice. Oh, wow. It actually bounced out of bounds. I thought that was a touchback. That was a nice punt. Working in the footballs for longer range is what Common Sense 200 was talking about as far as the new kicker football rule. Okay. Suppose I could help out. Probably a good drop by Dameon Pierce. Now a run for Pierce from, geez, nothing. Not a good sequence for Dameon Pierce. Ah. I mean, he almost made it happen. I see a lot of people are crushing Schultz on X right now. Yeah, this game is making me a little drowsy. I cannot tell a lie. This chair is also not that comfortable. Not that comfortable. Yeah, Molten Metal, this offense does feel very familiar to last year. You got to remember, a lot of mixing and matching on the offensive line. No Christian Kirk, so multiple rookies are being put into their first game ever. That's why you've seen a lot of Justin Watson. You would have thought you would see more Xavier Hutchinson by this moment in time. I think there are legitimate excuses to be made for why this offense is struggling. But everyone's going to be mad at the end of today's game if all they're able to get is 3 field goals. Ooh, should have been caught. Another good throw by Stafford. Easy. Adams is great, and he's giving Stingley a little bit of work today. Nets just says on the Instagram at Sports Gallant, we are so ass. OC, new OC, same bullshit. Yeah, I empathize with the frustrations. Killing a lot of clock on this drive. Oof. The middle of this Texans defense is getting just lit up. Largo, wait, who's this? I hate Largo asks, Paul, would you fight Philly's Karen for a home run ball? I don't know who Philly's Karen is. Third and short. Yeah, already at 5 minutes. I mean, if the Rams score a touchdown here, this one's over. You're approaching timeout territory. Ah! Yeah, ref's got to blow the whistle there. A bunch of dudes almost got their asses smoked. Let's see. Ooh, that's a fumble. Fuck it. You have nothing to lose at this point. There we go. Great job by the Texas defense swarming to the ball. Because honestly, it did look like an incomplete pass. That one referee was super late with the whistle. Swarm! Texans swarm! Swarm! H is up! Swarm! Fought forward. God, he's looking pretty good out there. Penalty number 11 on the game with that illegal shift. Let's pick up the pace. Ugh. Well, I guess the good news is if you don't get this first down, clock stops. But you are going to miss out on having the 2-minute warning as a play to potentially stop the Rams, say they get some yardage. Jeez. Let's go. All right, guys, how we feeling? How we feeling right now? I'll be honest. I would rather them run the ball than throw the ball. Also, I feel like the offense has one more penalty perhaps left in it. There's been a lot of that already. And his flaky red plaque psoriasis. Yeah, I feel like I have itchy red plaque psoriasis right now. Common Sense says crappy. Ryan Lawson, Texas says not great. Is CJ going to be the hero? Asks Samson. He's done it before. I mean, I think he can. I certainly think he can. But this has just been a very, very struggly day. I know that's not a word for the passing game. Whether it's due to the juggling on the offensive line or just the fact that after Nico Collins, you don't really know who the number 2 receiver is for the Texans. I think if you're taking a look at the numbers, it's either Dalton Schultz or Xavier Hutchinson or Justin Watson. Yeah, so Jaden Higgins has 2 catches for 32. Xavier Hutchinson has 2 catches for 30. Dalton Schultz has 3 catches for 28. And Justin Watson has 2 for 27. Nico 3 for 25. Yikes. Hopefully you didn't have any on your fantasy team. I'm behind, so I'm going to not look at the chat for a little bit, but it looks like something good happened. Ugh. I just drank a bunch of coffee grounds. Dale Ogunbowale! Okay, so they're at the Rams' 25-yard line. With 1:51 to go and all 3 timeouts. Oh, fuck. Dare Ogunbowale. Not Dare Ogunbowale. Frank Ross cried about Dario Gunbowale earlier this week because of everything he's able to do. But couldn't hold on to the ball there. Just made up for Colby Parkinson's fumble. Still got 3 timeouts. Yeah, that was a great punch. Well, that hold will help. That's a tough situation because Ogunbowale is just diving forward. And when you're holding the ball out like that, it's easy to punch it out. Trey of Texas, I don't think he needed to die for the extra yardage the way that he did there. I think he could have just run into the tackler. It was a first down situation. I'm with you there. I think that is on Ogunbowale the way that he did that. This might be the last time I do one of these live streams because you guys are so far ahead of me. Third down and 6 to 7 or so. Man, 3rd and 8. Play action fake. Woof. Nah, watching on Fubo TV. That's it. That's the game. That's on Agunbowale for diving, and I don't know how they end up with Petrie covering Naku on the last play of the game. All right, guys. I'm going to do a couple of mini videos, and we will be doing a post-game show probably an hour from now on YouTube, on Twitch, on X, Instagram, and Facebook. Ultimately, the Texans just shot themselves in the foot too much, which has been a problem for now a year plus. You overlook that stuff in year one when you got a rookie quarterback and a first-year head coach. You can't overlook it anymore. This is something that needs to be fixed. When you're playing teams like the Rams who have been there and done that, this stuff adds up, and you end up losing. Period. I think there are some extenuating circumstances for today, specifically with what was going on the offensive line, but at least 11 penalties. That's not going to get it done on the road against a team that came closer to beating the Super Bowl champion Eagles last year than any other team in the league. Appreciate you hanging out. Wish we had a more cheery result to discuss, but I will be back with a separate video stream talking about this L in 45 minutes to an hour or so. Until then, so long, farewell, and have yourselves a wonderful next hour of your Sunday. Peace.